ground materializes beneath your feet. Your weight falls back into your body all at once, and bright sunlight stings your eyes. As your eyes adjust, you realize you're still aboard the Lady Vengeance. A gust of fresh sea air caresses you, and warm sunshine prickles your skin.
Oh, one moment, please. Oh, just a moment.
Malady explodes in a fit of retching that racks her body. At last, she sneezes and expels a glob of something shiny and silver onto the deck. It wriggles quickly off the siding and plummets into the sea with a splash.
Ah, better. Let's not do that again anytime soon, Well, we needed to escape, didn't we? So I took us the one place I was quite certain Dallas couldn't follow. I suppose you recognized the Hall of Echoes from those visions you'd had before. Realm of the dead, realm of divinity. I do hope you learned something useful on our little field trip. Desperate how? I see. So, your god seemed uncharacteristically frightened, told you the void was coming, and that only you could ascend to divinity, after which you felt a cold deep within you. Well then, it sounds like you need to ascend, doesn't it? And quickly.
She inspects her fingernails with great attention, then looks up at you from under an arched eyebrow.
Did they mention how you were meant to become the next divine? Well, luckily for you, Mama Malady is here to help. We already know you can bless, but as far as I know, you can neither see source nor take it as you see fit. I may not know much about divinity, but I do know that any godwoken worth their salt will know how to perform all these oh-so-fantastic feats. You need to go see the Meistr. Oh, she's got one of those things in Driftwood, you know, the building where people go and they do things inside of it. Home, that's it. She's got a home in Driftwood. Give me your map. There you are. Tell her I sent you and she'll handle the rest. You're at the beginning of a long journey, Godwoken. Long, but exceedingly interesting. Now, I must be going. And so must you. Shopping. Why, our faithful little sloop, of course. We can all ride together. Won't that be terribly fun? Before you go, if I'm not back by the time you find out where our journey takes us next, you can call me back here. Tell the ship. She'll know how to summon me. And in the unlikely case you don't manage to do whatever it is you'll need to do to become what you need to become, you could call me, but I would be grateful if it doesn't come to that.
It's rather impressive that a place named Reaper's Coast is even less cheerful than it sounds. Then again, I suppose desolate, boring, and covered in fish heads coast doesn't quite roll off the tongue. Still, here we are. I trust I needn't remind you about our agreement. Good. It is of the utmost importance that I reach the Black Pits and access the dig site there. Once that is understood, I am quite content. Lead on, oh adequate one.
Hey, before we dash off into the wild world yonder, I should mention, Malady and I had a talk on the way here. Oh, you know, this and that. And she mentioned that the thing in my head is probably a demon. Told me there's a fella not so far from where we're headed who might be able to help me with it too. I know, it's great, exciting, terrifying. A heady mixture of all three that makes my stomach feel like it's in a vice. I have to say, having you here makes it all seem possible. We'll be all right, Chief?
She smiles, her dark eyes glittering.
Well, we better get a move on. I've got a demonologist to find.
Oh, you catch me during a meditative moment. Gods, voids, a perilous journey through the Hall of Echoes. One wonders whether one is awake or dreaming. Awake! and traveling with a 5-year-old, apparently. Now, if you'll unhand me, it's high time we return to the order of the day. Which in my case is still the domain of dreams, of course. Ramos the Wanderer told me to meet him in Driftwood. So, to Driftwood we must go. I can only hope it will be a town of opulence and plenitude, despite its rather discouraging name.
She's something, all right? I question Siva's trust in her, but Malady's usefulness is self-evident. As Lucian said, you will be eternally gifted when you act in my name. Paradise awaits, my friend. Not an actual paradise, of course. I don't think there's such a place in all of Rivellon. Paradise Downs. My parents still sow the soil there. And if the Order hadn't called me to its ranks, I'd still call their farm my home. I miss it. I miss them. They've been forever understanding of my duty. But I admit, I've been neglectful. I have some wrongs to right. I expect Malady has an answer to that. It seems she's got it all in hand. You are either naive or ignorant, Godwoken. Lucian overcame the demon of lies to become our savior, our father of truth. Malice was not in his nature.
Gareth relaxes. Inhale, exhale. His voice dims.
It's only human to question, but you must also find your way back. Not just for you, but for everyone that relies on you. In those moments of doubt, I remember not what Lucian said, but what he did. When the Black Ring rose up, he stood for the defenseless. For all of us. For my mother. My father.
Gareth's nostalgia lasts for just a moment longer. He composes himself, clears his throat, and waits for your next question.
Hello again. That's twice now you've saved my skin. And I think it's time to start repaying the favours. I could fetch some stuff you need, maybe. Ma always said I was a great runner. Sure thing. I'll start hunting that down right away. Don't wait up.
I've plenty of fighters for hire. Experts in blades, bows, and bewitchment. Oh, I see you have a full contingent.
Reaper's Coast lies nearby. When you are ready to sail elsewhere, I shall bring you there. The wood of the sacred ancestor trees has long been coveted for its ability to resist magical attacks. The consciousness of the elf within was always lost when they were uprooted, though. I am different. I think and feel. It is the work of freedmen. Dallas wanted more than a ship. She wanted a warrior slave who was bound to obey. So Friedemann used source magic to keep me alive as I was torn apart and rebuilt. He made me feel every moment of agony, then marked my wood with a slave scar. When I was an ancestor tree, the mother tree demanded loyalty also, but at least I was one of many. Now I am alone.
A Magister caravan. I remember one just like this picking me up. Could have been a shipment to Fort Joy. But what happened here? Good find.
No, no, no!
Malady. No, it's not true. Can't be true.
White as driftwood salt, the dwarf flinches at your approach, yet she holds a short, clean blade aloft. Her fierce stance can't hide the trembling of her fingers.
Back! Back! Magister, I'll kill you, just like the rest of them!
She slumps, all bravado draining from her.
No. I've never seen anything like those beasts before. Are they gone? Those? Yes. Worst ones I've ever seen. Ripped through the Magisters. The dwarves. Dead. And the sorcerers. Gone.
Her eyes stare vacantly into the distance, glassy as marbles. It's not cold, yet her shivering is relentless.
I don't know. Old Duna's beard. Lohar. My boss Lohar will want to know what happened to them, but I can't remember. They're helping sorcerers. We thought we could help them against the Magisters, but... No, I don't know. Oh, Seven Sympathy. I saw those things, dragging the sorcerers along the cliffs, towards the Wrecker's caves. No more, it's gone.
She flinches at the slightest rustle of wind through the long grass. Terror in her eyes, she stumbles away from you. The lizard hangs from the gibbet, her face blooded and her scales discolored. Her eyes are closed, but her tongue flickers as you approach.
Welcome to Driftwood, Godwoken.
One bloody eye cracks open, glittering gold appearing from beneath the swollen lid.
Chased you all the way here from Fort Joy, did they? Very well then, cut me down. There is work to be done. Or indeed you could stand there gulping like a mutt at the dinner table. That is certainly your right.
The Meistr bares her teeth, stained a deep pink by her blood, and growls.
Malady is unfortunately mistaken. I cannot train you, but I can certainly help you on your path, as long as I am free of this rope.
The lizard grimaces, shifting awkwardly as she dangles.
I am in intense pain. You are either insufferably cruel or insufferably stupid. Be quick about it, before the Magister realizes their prize catch is about to slip through the net. Excellent. Now, if you'd be so kind as to gut that startled-looking Magister, it would be much appreciated. I must secure my home before they do any more damage.
Be grateful that you don't feel the need.
Get yourself in check, boy. I won't have you running off like Millicent and Tully. You'll just end up sliding down some Voidvoken's gross gullet, piece by piece.
The older-looking Magister notices your presence and does a double-take. He squints and peers at you closely before shaking his head.
Cool, Aldous. He's a spitting image of that sorcerer fellow, ain't he?
Thought you were someone else for a second there, lad. Someone with no business in Driftwood. But enough of all that. What word do you bring?
His face goes pale and his eyes open wide. The Magister that greeted you remains stiff, as if enduring a harsh wind.
The Voidwoken come.
Hush, Fader. You may pass, traveller. Dare say you'll be aching to leave before long anyway. But before you do, find Raymond, the White Magister. He'll want to know what you've seen. Be quick, mind. He's set to sail any moment.
He nods his head in the direction of the bridge, but offers no other instructions.
As long as you stay put, you'll be safe.
The silent monk's stitched lips are the colour of sea ice. The expected happens. Nothing.
They'd be daft to come back. As long as there's no...
Last time I was here, I summoned my wolf right in the tavern. All hell broke loose. Good times. Good times.
Hope you ain't looking for work in this dying town. Besides, you ain't got the look of a fisher about you, I'll tell you that much.
You too, Julian. Show them how it's done, man. Go on, you mute sacks of flesh. Put your backs into it. I'll not lose another day to the tide. The Lord Dread awaits. Its sails billow with Dallas's breath. Up.
The Magister stops barking orders. He sniffs the air like a predator, turns to face you, the wolf eyeing the deer.
I'm going nowhere right at this moment. Nowhere since something crossed my path and oh so very sharply piqued my interest. Tell me, have you ever been strung up by the hands? Your body swinging like a bell's clapper as your bones are being broken with cast iron rods? We do cruel things unto others and unto ourselves because we must.
He licks his lips. Dry flesh turns wet.
See, I'd like to string you up too, rack you with rods and leave you dangling over a puddle of your own blood and piss. Oh, no, 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 no. That won't do at all. Innocence is a mask that doesn't fit you. I'm very good at what I do, see? I don't even need a sauce hound yapping by my side. There was a whiff of something in the air when you approached. A current of filth. That is to say, sauce. Best convince me I was mistaken.
He leans in closer and sniffs the air once more.
Interesting. So I was mistaken. Must have been ambition I smelled on you, not the magic that dare not speak its name. Very well. In that case, we'll forego the gallows and turn straight to the hunt, the very definition of your order's existence. Seems peaceful here, doesn't it? A quiet day in a quiet town. One wouldn't think these drifting woods toss on dwarf-troubled waters. But they do. Consider for a moment the dwarf. What is he? A mule, a beast of burden. But some defy that role. There are rats among them, dancing to their rat queen's tune. I've need of a rat catcher. Of course. I must depart post-haste, but Julian here will stay behind and be a good little parrot. Ask, and he will answer.
Stay behind? But I've my orders. Same as you. Dallas.
Like I said, Julian is staying. And with that, I must be off. No hard feelings about the death threats, of course. How about we part shaking hands instead of stringing them up? How very heartwarming. One last thing. The Magisters here are diligent men and women. A stranger like you may run into troubles with them. Should this happen, just wave this piece of parchment in their eager little faces. My signature will placate them without fail, I assure you. Adieu and good luck. The Lord Dread awaits. The use of the gallows I pass on to you.
Time has come, my stitched-lipped lovelies. We set sail. Get on board and man your stations.
The Magister is rubbing the dirt off his robes, none the worse for wear, apparently, from the blast of magic that knocked him off his feet.
You! The supposed source hunter! I'd be whining and dining aboard the Lord Dread if it weren't for you. Your meddling in Magister affairs had better be worth it.
Yes, I am very much aware. Wasn't my damned head that hit the floor back there.
Now answer me. Did you meet with a Magister caravan on your way into town? The hour's growing late and I'm beginning to worry something might have gone wrong. By the Bishop's bones, you saw it? Out with it, man. What happened? Void woken. That means source was used. Which means some third party must have attacked first. And have a fair idea who that might have been. Raymond, that old goat, always suspected there's more to the Driftwood dwarves than meets the eye. Hate to admit it, but I think he may be right. Too many things have gone wrong along Reaper's Coast to attribute to bad luck. Magister ships sinking, weapons disappearing, and as you've seen, a caravan attacked and destroyed. Rumour has it the Dwarvian Queen herself is behind these acts of sabotage. That is what I want you to prove. There's a local thug, Lohar. He runs an operation out of his hideout beneath the Black Bull Tavern. I suspect this man of being a spy for his queen. It may be interesting to have a word with him, find out what he's up to. But where I really want you to ferret around is Reaper's Bluffs, to the east of Driftwood. It's wild territory, remote and hostile, where I believe the dwarves may have set up a base of operations away from prying eyes. Should you find any such place, and better yet, proof that Lohar is working in behalf of Queen Justinia, you will be handsomely rewarded, I assure you. They've always been snakes in the grass. Cheap labour, sure, and hard workers too. Half of them are their queen's spies. Her eyes, her ears, her poison-pouring hands. You know what Queen Justinia is like, surely. A tyrant and a master strategist to boot. In that case, go forth and let the hunt commence!
And rotten eggs. More humans. Just what we needed.
Penny for a sick dog? A glance at the dog's miserable face tells you it's sick all right. Penny for a sick dog? The dog lies there quietly, clearly in great pain.
What are you looking at? I'm sick here. Get lost. Got a pain in the neck. You've got a bad pain in the neck.
It flinches. A low, threatening growl builds within its throat. Under the collar, you find the sharpened points of metal rivets, gouging the poor dog's skin. The dog bares its teeth at you and growls. The dog gives you a long, hard stare, but does not bite you. Yet. The dog goes to bite your hand, and then realizes the pain is gone.
Hey, I feel okay. Thanks, man. think I'll wander off now. Here, before I go, what can I do to show my gratitude? Master did. Huh? Wait a minute. Master hurted me? Excuse me a minute. I'm gonna go now, but first I have a thing I need to do.
He turns to his master.
You bad man, you!
Then don't. Penny for a grieving beggar whose dog ran away. God damn it. That was my livelihood. Penny for a grieving beggar? I reckon I'm owed it here. You wouldn't do that, would you? Oh, yes. You would do that, wouldn't you? I couldn't prevail upon you to change your mind, could I?
He gives you a cool look, then rummages in his pocket. He hands you the contents.
That's your lot. Go on then. Get lost, you freeloader. I'm working here.
As the Magister's eyes alight upon you, they widen until they are practically bulging out of their sockets. One tremulous finger rises from voluminous robes and points right at you. From her other hand dangles handcuffs.
Ifan Ben Meistrs our living breeze. I don't know how you got free, but it'll be back to the joy with you and no mistake. Who could forget? Best night's business the healer had in months. Now, come on. Back into a cage where you belong.
The Magister balks, all bravado punctured. She hums a tune and looks the other way, pretending to be completely alone here.
We're in subordination! Latest news! Fresh from the War Owl! Hear all about it! Many a latest, my friend. The war, the bishop, the queen. What tickles your fancy? Ain't looking too good for them lizards. Word is, the Divine Order's gonna hit the ancient empire and hit it hard. You remember what happened to the elves, don't you? Ain't no one left standing when you treat them to death fog. 7 save us. Stabbed in the back he was by them vile, low-born, treacherous seekers. Kill them all, I say. Do them like Magister Raymond did old Lady Siva. That'll teach them traitors. I mean, they doomed us all, didn't they? The son of the Divine is dead. Gone. Who'll save us now? Jolly Justinia, Queen of the Dwarves. Ha! Scourge, more like. Here's 20 or so noble gentlemen. No one knows what they did wrong, if anything, and she has them stripped and whipped all the way to the execution grounds. Didn't even give them the dignity of the sword, no sir. Had them all hung. Real slow like. You ask me, and I say she's mad as a mink with its tail on fire. Queen or no queen.
Hello, mister.
The little boy looks at you. He picks his nose.
You be careful. My daddy's a magister.
No, he's not. His daddy's a fisherman like most daddies round here. We were waiting for our friend. He went for a swim. He'll be back soon.
He went swimming all the way to Fort Happy.
Fort Joy?
That's what I said. Fort Joy. He's going to find his mum and bring her back. That's right.
I think he's an idiot. And when he gets back, I'm going to tell him so.
The Meister's back. The Meister's back. She doesn't feel like playing, but...
The Meistr sits slumped in a chair, looking around the room as she works her shoulder with one hand. It looks like it was dislocated by the gallows.
Damnable red cloak baboons ransacking my wardrobes, as if I would keep ancient valuable secrets in a pile with my unmentionables.
She takes a deep breath, and with a twist, a click, and a screech of pain, she shoves her shoulder back into its socket.
I swear by the 7 if we did not have more important matters to attend to.
Reaching across the table, she pulls a bowl of hot water towards her and fishes some bandages, a needle and thread out of a box. She slowly starts to tend to her wounds.
At least the barbarians were unable to club their way into my vault, so everything you need should be safe. In your case, more than I suspect, man, god or even reptile can provide. However, we must soldier on. It is not enough to be God-woken in order to ascend to divinity. There is a process.
As she speaks, the Meistr uncorks a vial of shimmering liquid, sauce. She lets a couple of drops fall on her hand, but instead of infusing with her body, they quickly evaporate on her scales. She stares at the empty spot on her palm for a long moment before turning back to you, continuing as if nothing had happened.
A process by which God-woken may ascend. It begins with discovering your deepest self, delving into your own soul. Enthusiasm? On a weekday? My word. We shall begin once we have the tools we need from my vault. You may have been chosen God-woken, but becoming divine requires more than a supernatural pat on the head. Come, God-woken. It is time to see just how awake you are. Fortunately, the Magisters pay into fashion. Kindly remove that paint. It really is quite simple. In the corner, there's a painting. Remove it and push the button behind it. Then we may move on to the vault. The combination to the vault is 15R 34L, 23R 35R, 9R 16L, 33L 45R, 51L 1L. Try to get it right. I pray your talent for following simple instructions fills me with wonder and pride. Push the button. Now, kindly go to the vault and enter the combination. I shall call it out as you go.
A stone door lies flush with the floorboards. Etched whorls in the granite frame a delicate rotary dial. Gleaming under the dim light, the metallic dial almost seems to wink at you. Taking your time, you carefully enter the combination. The metallic sounds of the tumblers falling within the mechanism let you know you entered the code correctly.
Excellent. Follow me. Your time is at hand, God-woken.
Ancient runes, weird contraptions. This place is an Arcanist's dream.
The Meistr is examining her wounds, prodding at this, wincing at that. Her face seems grim as she turns to you.
Do you know what it means to have the power of the divine, God-woken?
Meistr Siva's stare bores into your soul. It is still, analytical, and ice cold.
Indeed, some people seem to think so. Mostly they're idiots, but in some cases they're mad dogs.
The Meistr rests her hand on her arm where one of her wounds has just reopened. She squeezes hard, ignoring the trickle of blood running down her claw.
I pray you're more idiot than mad dog. It would be a shame to expend all this effort just to see you put down. I hope so, for all our sakes. To accept divinity is to accept responsibility for the lives of every person and beast that walks Rivellon. If granted divinity, you would have the power of all 7 gods at your disposal. You could heal any wound, pull islands from the sea, right any injustice. But make no mistake, the Divine has only one duty: to protect this world from the void. The Divine cannot use his power for anything else. Very well, then. Let's see if we can't snatch divinity from the jaws of the void. The ritual itself is quite simple. Drop some blackroot in the bowl, mix in a little blood, set the concoction aflame, and then inhale the smoke. Ignore any feelings of dizziness, burning in your lungs, or a dire sense of existential dread. They're all perfectly normal, although you will need to sacrifice a little sauce along the way. Everything you need is here. Ingredients in the cupboard. Sauce in the glowing fountain. Ritual in the tome by the bookcase. Even an incinerator to provide a flame.
The Meistr looks back at her wounds, curiously prodding them as fresh blood oozes out, staining her claws.
Quite. Mind you, being torn asunder by a Voidwoken would be even more inconvenient. So if you wouldn't mind...
The Meistr points sharply to the ingredients cupboard.
And do not lose anything! These ingredients are rare indeed. I'm not hiking back out to the Cloisterwood to fetch you more blackroot.
Opening the door, you see a selection of ingredients, thrown together in no particular order. After a quick rummage, you spot the blackroot, nestled between the grated dragon's tongue and Drudene oil. You gather up the blackroot, obsidian lance, and ancient bowl, and kick the door of the cupboard closed. As you suck the smoke deep into your lungs, your vision starts to swim and cloud. There is an intense pounding in your head, and you can feel the world fading. As the world fades away, you lose all sense of being grounded. You reach out, but you could feel yourself falling slowly, sinking into the depths of your own soul. Bathed in the half-light of these starless barrens, you spot a figure you could only describe as a second self. It looks haggard and weak, its very voice but a feeble echo of your own.
Ivan, my wolf! Come closer, so that you may see me as I truly am. Look me in the eyes.
The apparition clasps your face in its shaking hands. You suddenly feel your eyes tingle. Everything becomes brighter, sharper. Blacks and whites become glorious bursts of color, then fade back into their accustomed spectrum.
Blind eyes, shine brightly. Speak the spell, and see.
Gone is the strange mirror image of yourself. Before you stands the god Ralik in all his spectral glory.
You know me now, don't you? I saved you from drowning. I blessed you, made you powerful. And now I've come to seek some power in return. Your god-woken soul is my last refuge, my last bastion. May as well make the best of what you have to offer.
Ralik nourishes himself from the source that abounds in your presence. You feel it deep down inside yourself.
Ah, yes. Just what I needed. I tell you, dying just doesn't become a god. The void itself is hunting down the gods, leeching us in ways we never thought possible. Droplet by droplet, we are being drained. We're battling for our very survival. It's a battle we're losing, and should we truly lose, all will be cast into oblivion. To save us both, as a matter of fact, you must realize, Ifan, that our fates are now as one, just as our souls are now as one. We are I. Together we are a force to be reckoned with. But if we seek to survive the onslaught of the void, we stand no chance unless we become vastly more powerful than we are now. That means there is but one place we can go. The Well of Ascension. It is a lake, a pool of pure source in which the powers of the Seven lie united. We gave them up freely to create the first divine. Each of us donated half of that which makes us gods. To bathe in the lake is to become our chosen. That is where the road to divinity leads, and you must be the first to reach it at all costs. It was a time of selflessness and sacrifice in the face of our old enemy. It was an act of heroism and a dreadful mistake. A mistake we must rectify. The void is stronger than ever. A new divine won't be enough. You need to go to the Well of Ascension, not to bathe in the source of the Seven, but to take it. All of it. Only he who claims everything will be everything. The void's doom. This world's liberator. It's very simple, really. They will either bow to you or be undone. But of course, that is what they are saying to their own God-woken as we speak. We both know they won't bow, just like we both know you will never bow to them. Only one can become a god strong enough to safeguard our world. One, at the expense of all others. So make no mistake, Ifan. Chances are the road to divinity will be paved with dead gods, their blood on your blood-red hands. But don't let that dismay you. For these sins will be washed clean by the knowledge you committed them to save all of existence, to save your kin, and your loved ones, and the world they live in. Of course, the ends do justify the means. Life, or the eternal void. If you choose life, you choose the Well of Ascension. I will lead you there when you're ready, when you've become a true master of the Source and speak the language of creation itself. Our journey will be fraught with peril. It is a pilgrimage of challenges that will require you to command Source like only a God-woken can, and wield its most powerful spell.
Hoarse laughter rolls and echoes into infinity.
Perhaps. But what is a pilgrimage after all? If not a journey of atonement in search of enlightenment? Focus not on death and irony, Ifan. You've had enough of those. It's time to turn your lupine gaze to life and ascension instead. We are I now. The spells you need to know I will teach you when you are ready. But first, you must learn to channel the Source in greater volumes. That is why you need to seek Masters of the Source. You must make them teach you, so that you may become a master in turn. So, return to Rivellon and seek out these sages where they dwell. Convince them to share with you their deep-seated bond with the Source. Once you have, you may return to me here. Something that will make you understand that for a god, there is precious little difference between the living and the dead. Source is. It is a constant, a subject of neither time nor transience. All of life is Source, and in Source it is, immortally so. You have the vision of a god now. Eyes that can see spirits, the souls of the dead made manifest in Source. Speak the spell during your peregrinations, and you will see them. Where the dead lie, the dead linger. Best of luck, Ben Meistr.
The Meistr stares intently at you. Her eyes are tired and bruised, but determined.
Still alive? Gods above, there might be something to you after all.
She leans in, her bloody tongue flickering hungrily about your face.
Tell me, what did you see? What you know?
She sighs impatiently as you hack up the last of the green smoke.
You can't channel enough sauce? Gods be damned, why couldn't you have a nice simple problem? Finding an orc to dance the hornpipe, perhaps? I know exactly what must be done. You must find a master of sauce. And I could have helped you once, but no longer. The purging which the Magisters included as part of their service was quite efficient. They stripped me of my sauce. Not enough to silence me, but enough that I would not turn their insides to lime. Enough to sever my link to the font from which all sauce flows, and certainly enough that I cannot train you. So we must seek alternatives. Alas, the only sauce masters not yet hauled off to Fort Joy or turned into meat puppets are those too dangerous or cunning for the Magisters to contain. Sorcerers that allowed their power to corrupt them. Many are wicked, cruel, vile, and generally not good teacher material, but we may have no others to turn to. Just so, some of these are quite dark, twisted individuals. The kind of creatures that grew bored pulling the legs from spiders and so moved on to people. However, it is the path we walk, no matter what the cost. No matter what is asked of you.
The Meistr doubles over in a violent coughing fit, struggling for breath. After a few moments, she regains her composure, wiping a thin smear of blood from the corner of her mouth.
No matter what is asked of you, you must learn from them. And you do not seem to be paying attention. Sorcerers, evil, controlling your source, saving Rivellon, please. Please tell me at least some of this rings a bell. Your focus, your only focus, must be on finding these masters, on finding the secrets to divinity. Nothing else matters. The Magisters have kept ledgers with all known sorcerers, especially the powerful ones not yet captured. They would be an invaluable resource. But do be careful not to get caught. I was their guest for a time, and I promise you the gallows was the most comfortable part of the experience. And if their barracks turns out to be as empty as their skulls, just try to keep an ear to the ground. There may still be powerful sorcerers hiding in these lands.
As she speaks, one of her wounds reopens, a dark red stain spreading across her tunic. She hisses in frustration and starts to bind the gash.
I wish there was more I could do, but in this condition, I would be more a hindrance than a boon. Godspeed, and remember, do whatever it takes.
My friend, for Alexander the Innocent.
Gather 'em up, I say.
Killed by sorcerers. A most vile incident.
The spirit of a Magister stares dumbly at her translucent hand, the fingers of which have been sheared off.
My ring! Where's my ring?
The spirit pivots her wrist, staring at the fingerless hand, utterly, morbidly entranced.
I should have been more careful. She hacked at my sword hand first. I couldn't defend myself.
The spirit stares, absorbing your question. Finally, she points her fingerless hand towards the kitchen. The spirit's lips part, trying to form an answer, but it doesn't come. She forlornly stares at you, unable to find the words.
Keep your eyes peeled, would you? Ramos the Wanderer promised he'd be here.
If you got nothing to hide, you got nothing. Yeah,
The cook acknowledges you with a small bow, an oddly formal gesture given the surroundings.
Please, sir, you should not be back here. It's not safe. A ghost? Peddle your children's tales elsewhere. I have work to do.
What's this? I found something.
Please, I must insist you keep out of my kitchens. It's not safe for you to wander about like this. They can inflict pain all the same. Please, I must insist that you leave. You should speak to Loverick if you want food.
This ring, it bears the Magister's seal. And there's blood on it.
Same as before, the spirit remains locked in a shocked trance.
The ring! It was right here, on my finger!
Something shakes the Magister's ghost from her stupor. Her gaze falls on the ring and brightens.
My ring!
Your words take a long moment to sink in, like they're being translated for the netherworld.
Return it! Home to my brethren!
The spirit smiles at you. If it weren't for the circumstances, it'd be almost heartwarming.
Be watchful.
He's here, somewhere. I know it. I can smell him. Tell me, have you anything to report?
The Magister's eyes narrow and her lip curls as she assesses you.
It's vital that you report anything unusual. We must know. Is that clear? He arrived in Driftwood some days ago, dressed as a tinkerer. He bought and sold a few knickknacks. But we thought nothing of it until our brothers started vanishing. As soon as he knew we were onto him, he ran. We think he's hiding in here, but he's a canny one. Now, be on your way. Who knows where he could strike next?
Heaven usher us to paradise against all odds.
Please, I must insist you keep out of my kitchens. It's not safe for you to wander about like this.
She grabs the ring and glares at you, like a rattlesnake observing its next live meal.
You should have just kept out of this.
She gives you a defiant look.
Magisters are a blight. They deserve worse than the death I gave them. I wouldn't taint the earth with their carcasses. Better that they vanish into unsuspecting stomachs. My secret would be far safer if I knew you could never talk again.
There's a carving knife in her hand. You never even saw her pick it up.
I have more work to do, more Magisters to rid the world of. I can't leave any loose threads.
She gives you a long look, unsure, then decides.
Betray me and you'll meet the same fate as the others. Now go.
You've got enough in front of you.
A prim woman in a starched apron wipes a glass with a clean rag. She pins you with blue, steel-sharp eyes as you approach the bar.
Blessings upon our Lucian, 7 times divine.
With surprising agility for a woman of her age, she reaches over the bar and swings a hand toward your face. You brace yourself for the incoming blow, but she instead points her finger into your face.
We don't speak of His Holiness that way in this establishment. Well, you can't be blamed if your mother didn't teach you any better.
But that can't be helped now, I suppose. Not everyone received the same education as my Niles. He's a Magister, mind. Dead. So what are you after? We've only got amber ale, I'm afraid. Can't spare the potatoes for hard alcohol. If you'd like something that'll stick to your ribs, I'd flag down Loverick and get yourself a bowl of the house stew. Sure.
An elf sways on her chair, her eyes focused on the counter in front of her, where she has 6 glasses in a row. With the nails of 2 fingers, she's pressing red welts into her forearm. She slides one of the drinks towards you, her head bobbling heavily on her neck as she nods at the sparkling ale.
And that's... Drink or shut up. Nothing like a glass of the good stuff to smudge everything into a pretty shape.
She slides another glass of ale toward you. Its contents sparkle in the dim barlight.
Bottoms up. Cheers to you, me, and...
Her gaze swivels around the room.
Damien's dull knife. This place is horrible. Never mind. Cheers to you, me, and me again. Another. What do you mean? Ah, fat lot of good that'd do me around here. All the wolfies can't seem to catch a break in these parts. So, to the dwarves. Psh, give me one good reason. Look, you don't need to do that. You don't need to... Look.
She shows you the 2 swollen, angry red welts on the underside of her arm. She slaps them without finesse, making herself wince, and stares at you intensely.
I know how to make it better. I can fix it, all of it. I'll tell you. There's this woman. I'm not crazy. And if she kisses you, she can change you. She's downstairs. And now I'm different. It's in her lips. It's in the magic. I changed the right way. And then, I think now I'll be fine. You understand how, sometimes you just want to be fine. Yes. Yep. You ought to go see her. Dorothea. She can help. She can help you.
She looks at you earnestly, her eyes gleaming, the twinkle of the amber ale behind them.
I seem good, don't I? Yeah, I do.
Who shall rise? Who gains the title most divine?
If the Magisters ever come...
Hold it. Papa no, you no go.
He grins, unpleasantly.
Loha didn't tell me to let any walking scarecrow in, so why should I? It's already mad as a bag of cats down there, and I've no intention of flinging another mangy yowler in there. Scoot! Hey, back away from the stairs or you'll find out exactly why they call me Papa Thrat. Might be your fault when you go down there later. You won't be walking. Watch yourself. I've got lens here.
I've spotted something.
Look at that. A fresh face. And a pretty little kisser it is, too. If and Ben Mazd, as I live and breathe. I didn't think I'd see you back in Driftwood again. No, don't tell me. If I don't know the story, I won't have to lie about it later.
She reaches out to pinch your cheek and gives you an exaggerated wink.
So what's your poison, Governor? A sip or a smoke? Aye, so it is. But not just any Drudnay. Oh no. My own special blends. Further down's the arena, see? And the gladiators are always on the lookout for an edge. I give them that edge. You could say that my darling herbs flower in the flesh and blossom in the brain. So, if you're interested, Governor, all you have to do is use your imagination. How can I make you bloom? No problem. In return for a reasonable donation, that is.
Effie digs all kinds of outlandish herbs from out of the depths of many pockets and mixes them with the patience and skill of an alchemist.
Much obliged, Governor. And here's your blend. Just take it to that big beauty of a pipe over there and have a blast.
Smoke billows from this strange contraption. It's adorned with hoses, levers and slots.
The Seven protect me.
Seven, save me. This leaf is strong.
My good sir, I see that you accompany no other than His Royal Majesty, the Red Prince. I have a message for him of quite vital importance, if you'd be so kind.
Of course he'll be so kind. Speak freely, kinsman.
Directions, my lord. I was bid to send you to none other than Bramos the Wanderer. He was waiting for you here, my prince. But...
He looks around the hazy room with hasted eyes.
The House of Shadows stirs. The Honorable Bramos sensed them closing in. He had no choice but to flee from Driftwood. A little ways east he went, in search of safety, to an encampment of paladins. You will find him there, Majesty. And with Prince of Princes, I am humbled and grateful.
He bows deeply before the Red Prince, as reverently as one would before a god.
The House of Shadows stirs. An ominous phrase. It's as if I can feel the onset of night. Perhaps. But you must realize that until a short while ago, the very existence of the House of Shadows was a mystery to us. If this thing of darkness steps into the light, it must be desperate. And desperate means dangerous. You still stand by me, then, despite us being targeted by such a formidable foe? That is quite admirable, I must say. Onward, then. Let them strike when they may. We shall be ready for them.
Hail. Such a striking man.
She draws close. You feel her breath on your neck, hot, moist.
Oh, yes. I have something that you want. But I only bargain with those I deem deserving. Those who have accomplished great things. So, tell me, are you worthy of my gift? Handsome. I must consider your merits before I answer your questions. Why, I wouldn't tease you with a gift I could never offer. You don't think me cruel, do you? If you swam your way here, I might consider that a notable triumph. But honey, I know you didn't swim. You'll have to give me something more impressive than that. Surely you've accomplished something of note. Indeed. This is acceptable. You are nearer the one than most self-described heroes I've known. So, tell me, are you ready for me to grant you your greatest desire? I can't. Not yet. First, you must look into my ring and tell me what you see there. Gaze into the gem, handsome one.
She flashes her ring at you, and you stare at the luminescent stone at its center. You are floating on a current of pure source, surrounded by a kaleidoscope of colors and fuzzy images. On the horizon looms a dark silhouette. As you approach, a beam of light washes the shadow away, revealing to you...
Yes. I see you clearly now. It is power you seek. To conjure maelstroms and command the light to drive away shadow. I will fulfill this desire. In return, I ask for one thing in return. A kiss.
Dorothea sighs, a fusion of a kitten's purr and a cockroach's clacking.
For me to help you, our souls must touch. And a kiss brings our souls closer, does it not? It shall fulfill both your desire and mine. Most delicious. Meet me around the corner, and come alone. An audience is not required.
Are you? No, you aren't. Please, could you help me? Bugger off. Can't you see I'm trying to relax?
She looks you up and down with a grimace.
What's it look like? Nope. Yep. So already in my pipe. Nothing left for you. Sorry.
Her lips pout, but otherwise her face is steel.
I waited, yet you never appeared. I hope you have not changed your mind. I am most keen to satisfy you. As you wish, I will await you. Come alone.
Dorothea sees you and heaves a shuddering sigh. She bites into her lower lip with enough force that a drop of blood seeps out. Blood and something else. Something green.
Darling, I admit I wish we could share more carnal pleasures. Yet I think a kiss is the height of intimacy. Now come closer and receive your soul's desire.
You draw closer and close your eyes, eager to feel her lips on yours. Yet her lips do not press against yours, and her hands do not caress your face. She is a woman no longer, but a were-spider. Her fang painlessly sinks into your neck. You still hear her words, though they sound muffled, as if filtered through a glass wall.
You desired power, and so it's yours. My venom seeps into every pore. We part ways now. I'll remember this moment. You've seen my true self. There's nothing more to know.
She kisses her forefinger, then presses it against your forehead.
Now go.
What do you want? Boss is busy. Good. Boss could use some good news. Listen up. Don't waste his time. These are explosive times. Be respectful.
Easy. Marla's one of us.
I brought you up from girl to woman, Marla. Like you was my own. This.
He lifts his right arm, showing a white bandage beneath his ribs. A wet red spot shows through.
This ain't the thanks I expected. Who sent you?
The formidable dwarf slams his fist on the side table. You hear a loud crack.
Enough! Do you know they killed Anhar? Do ya? Start talking sense or I'll take that tongue right out of your mouth and fry it for supper. Bart, Cade, get her to talk or bleed her out. She ain't one of mine anymore.
His sneer travels from the restrained dwarf to you.
And you. You better have a damn good reason for coming here.
We ain't gonna keep you around much longer.
Brave lad, all sitting here now. I hope for your sake you've got good news for me. She alive? I'm impressed. Magister who's it laid into her pretty hard. You one of her little seekers? Chasing down Godwoken and begging them to save us all? That's so.
He leans back and narrows his eyes, looking you up and down.
You know, the order's been going on about Godwoken for an eon now. Voidwoken's still lurking, though, and they're still hauling folks off to the joy. So if you are who you say you are, what's the point of you? Ah, I should have guessed. I could help you. But last I heard, you was working for the Magisters. Big shots at the boats. Now, why in the name of all that hurts would I help a worm like that?
An unpleasant smirk twitches around the corners of his mouth.
Right. I reckon I could help you out. Depending on what you can do for me.
He gestures towards the bandage across his side.
Had a bit of family trouble lately. My girl Marla got it in her head to come after me with a short blade. That ain't like Marla. Ain't like her to pull the silent treatment either. Something's going on. And wouldn't you know it, that blade she used wasn't any normal bit of steel. Belonged to another of my people. Guy's name is Mordus. Bit of a loner, but smart as hell. I sent a few guys to go check on him, see if he knew what had got into Marla, but no one can find him. I'd like a word with the guy. Glad you see it that way. No one's seen him in a good few. I've got some people checking out his house near the tavern now, though. Tell them I sent you, and they'll let you know what they've found. Truth is, they might be glad to see you. Reckon a sorcerer will have better luck finding one of their own. Well, like I said, Mordus is a special guy. A sorcerer, matter of fact. Maybe even one of the ones Siva's after. If there's something you want to find out from him, you might want to ask before I have my word with him. Here, you can take this off my hands. More suited to your kind, really. Good luck.
The battered dwarf pulls her lips back into a garish, open-mouthed grin, flashing blood-stained teeth.
What can I do for you? How about a little amber? My boy Niles' favourite. He's a physician in the Divine Order. Mother's... Yes, that's my boy. Did you know him? Finest physician in all of Reaper's Coast. Top of his class. But it's been too long since I've seen him. A deviant? But what do you mean? Tell me what you saw.
Prudence takes up a clean glass and starts to polish it with her rag, rubbing at invisible water spots with zeal.
Told him the Divine punished him for that nonsense if he kept it up. Told him and told him and told him till he couldn't see straight. I should have told him so hard he'd never get back up.
She turns away from you and continues polishing the glass, eyes darting quickly around the bar, focusing on nothing.
Not right now.
Elson, my inkwell is dry. Fetch me some
Right
more.
away.
The Magister startles, realizing there's a stranger in his midst.
What do you want? You can't just come in here as you please. There's Magisters missing. I'm trying to conduct a bloody investigation. Well, mind your bloody step in future. I've an investigation to carry out, and I don't need any more distractions. He's a deviant named Higba, a grubby little tinkerer with a criminal mind. Some of my Magisters have vanished from Driftwood lately, and I'm certain that fiend is responsible. The fiend's greed gave him away. He was peddling items that belonged to those missing from our ranks. He saw my men before they could seize him and fled. I'm not going to wait. Well, what are you waiting for? Tell me! You think a bloody... This is my investigation. I won't have the likes of you telling me how to conduct it. Bring me real... Elson, my inkwell is dry.
cooking notes. Wait, there's something wrong with this.
Unless you have proof that this cook is responsible, you had best keep out of my way. Well, what are you waiting for? Tell me! What? The bloody cook? It can't be. Well, why did Higba have that contraband then? A reward? You'll get nothing unless you can prove these claims.
The Magister snatches the ring from your palm and stares at it.
This is a conduct award. I presented it to Magister Harrick myself. She was the second one to be taken. The cook's been reported dead. I thought she was another victim, but if she had this, she must have been the culprit. There's no other explanation.
He shudders in disgust.
And to think she was so near to us, to me, all this time. It seems I owe you my thanks. And a reward.
He holds out a pouch of gold. You try to take it, but he doesn't yet relinquish his grasp. With his free hand, he wags a finger in your face.
Keep this ugliness to yourself. I wouldn't want it thought that we Magisters can't solve our own problems without throwing gold about.
He lets go of the pouch and turns away. The dwarf is unnaturally still. You might mistake her for a corpse, were it not for a slight twitch of her eyelids. She calmly opens her left eye, then her right.
What do you want?
The dwarf unfolds her arms and shoots to her feet.
All right, human. Right, glad Lohar ain't left us here to wither. Those brutes are taking their sweet time down there. I gotta send word soon. Who knows? Anything that gives away what Mordus has been up to. Probably got all sorts of tricks for covering his tracks, but the goons downstairs should sniff out something. That weird priest's been hanging around Lohar for ages. Now he's vanished. Those half-wits below will know more. Get to it then. But tell the lunkheads that Glenn sent you before they bash your brains in.
What's this? I found something.
If we can't get ourselves out of here, it won't matter either, eh?
There we go.
Finally.
Door's opening.
By Duna's dagger. You here to free us or kill us?
The male dwarf expels 2 lungfuls of air and glances happily at his companion.
We've only been fretting here for a few hours, but it's felt like days. That snot-nosed priest's as slippery as a snake in an oil drum.
Ain't found nothing that lets on what Mordus is up to. Only thing we managed were to close that door and get us stuck. And if there's another door out there, never could find it.
Lohar ain't gonna be pleased.
Ain't no telling where that priest has gone to. Started acting all funny not so long ago, then flew the coop. Well, at first, he was just buddying around with Lohar and the rest, you know. But then he'd start looking all sickly and run off for a day or two. Then some stranger tried taking old Lohar down, but got himself caught and tied up. Ain't no coincidence Mordus went hanging around then.
She taps a finger against her forehead.
A woman knows things. Nothing's getting past me. Best we head off then. We've got business to attend to.
I've spotted something.
A skull? It's missing an eye. As far as locks go, this one's pretty macabre. A skull? It's missing an eye. As far as locks go, this one's pretty macabre. Careful now. That's a trap.
Well, this won't do. If I can get stuck, then I can get unstuck.
Lohar will want to know of this.
The shrine depicts Duna, yet has clearly seen better days. Scratches and fissures deface its exterior, and its eyes have been gouged hollow. You run your hands along the exterior until your fingers graze the button noted in the schematic. There's no mistaking the sound of stone chafing stone. The entrance to the chamber grinds open, filling your lungs with slightly less stale air. This shrine to Duna may have been quite beautiful before it was so horrible. The stone is cold against your palm. There's no mistake.
Better get out there before Mordus makes it all the way past Arcs. I asked you for a man, not a note.
He takes the letter from your hands and reads it quickly, face hardening with anger as he reaches the end.
Bloody goddamn spit-sucking weasel! This is bad. Not just for me and mine. Not just for you and yours. This is bad. For everyone. Hell if I know, but it don't sound good. Seems as though Mordus wasn't mine after all. Trouble is, I don't know whose he is. Of course. That's why I haven't heard from the cave. Sabotage. Listen up, I need your help. We all do. Mordus has his hands on something dangerous. Something I was trying to protect us from. Not just my folks. The whole damn realm. Look, me and mine, we move classified cargo. Take it right off Magister ships and put it into the hands of those that will use it rightly. Trouble is, we came across something no one ought to have. Not the Magisters, not my folks, not the gods themselves. I ordered it to be destroyed. I guess Mordus, whoever he's working for wants it for themselves. That can't happen. The less you know, the better. Trust me. Stop Mordus and I'll take care of the rest. My people had an operation up in the caves outside town. Good access to red ships and plenty of privacy too. Haven't heard from them in a couple of days now. I thought maybe we'd lost the messengers to Voidwoken in the hills, but now I think it's worse than I thought. I bet my lucky left foot Mordus is in the cave. You gotta get to him before he gets his hands on that cargo. Pray to whoever you pray to that it ain't too late. Finally, someone with a little sense around here. Give me your map. I'll show you where we were operating, where I think Mordus will be. I don't want to know what'll happen if he gets what he's after.
Be wary. That hound has a nose for sauce.
Halt! The hound smells sauce on you. Plenty of it, by the sound of him. Haven't got a collar for you. Damn it. I'm sorry, but I can't let you leave. Hounds, at the ready. Fine, fine. Do all the gallivanting you want. But if a hand goes snapping at your heels, I'm looking the other way. I sense sauce.
I sense sauce on you.
You met me as a lone wolf. But did I ever tell you of my past in the Divine Order?
West, Reaper's Bluffs. South, Beach. East, Driftwood.
You mentioned you were once part of the Divine Order. What was that like? But what happened? Why did you leave the Order?
Trust me, today's Divine Order has nothing to do with Lucians. Everything started to go downhill during the war, right after my last mission. You know, sacrifices had to be made during the war? Well, Lucian knew he needed to use Death Fog to eliminate the Black Ring. But doing that would kill the elves also. So we came up with a plan.
Let me guess. It failed?
That it did. I was to hurry through the forests with a rift portal for the elves, so they could escape before the Death Fog exploded. But something went wrong. I was too late. The Death Fog exploded just as I arrived, and the elves were...
But you tried to save the elves? But why didn't Lucian wait?
Hot damn, tell you whining.
Careful now. That's a trap. Another Magister carrot.
Persistent little flies. Buzz back to your dung heap. You wriggly little worms.
You recall the eyes of the dwarves, black until death, when they faded to normal.
How curious. Let us hurry. I should like to find the entity responsible for this.
You can't just use people like that. Whatever possessed them, we're gonna find it and teach it just that.
The air here is like the deserts before a storm. Let us watch for thunderclouds.
I've spotted something.
Careful now. That's a trap.
Careful now. That's a trap. Careful. Spotted a trap.
Can you feel it? The void. It's here. It's calling to me. I don't know what that statue was doing, but it doesn't look good.
the mutilated body that once housed her. As you approach, she turns confused eyes on you. She stares uncomprehendingly at your outstretched hand, slowly raising a bewildered gaze to meet your eyes. She stares, and you feel yourself drawn into the mesmerizing source pools of her eyes. With a jolt, her life flashes before your eyes. You become her in her prime, battling a felled Magister in a deserted clearing. Electricity crackles from your fingers as you advance upon the Magister. The Magister is part of something dark, something cruel, something that goes against the very fabric of your being. All bets are off. Merciless, you attack her with spell and blade. As her warm blood spurts to cover your face, you are sated. A satiety you would never speak of. A satiety that momentarily fills the emptiness within you. Wait, who are you? You can't remember. You are thrust out of the spirit's memories and back into your own sovereign mind. You see the spirit of the dwarven battle mage before you, eyes downcast now.
This body is fresh. Were they a sorcerer? The void is strong here. Even the stone is infected.
The spirit tugs and tugs at the source collar around his neck, though it budges not an inch.
We couldn't. I couldn't. Is it really our fault? The void woken.
He gives you a look full of hope, then remembers the collar round his neck and slumps forward, letting his hands hang heavy by his sides. Spirit cowers on the ground, trapped in the fear of her final moments.
No, please! Help! Someone! Help!
She cringes at the name and turns to you, urgent.
Mordus! No! Not Mordus!
With growing horror, she turns her focus on something unseen, looming high above her.
Looks like this is Lohar's place. Or what's left of it. Could Mordus have survived this?
The trembling of the dwarven spirit tells you the halberd in his hands may not be enough to withstand his unseen enemy. He glances behind him, searching for an escape. He drops the halberd and bolts behind some nearby rocks.
Divine, save me! I don't want to die, please! I don't want to die! I don't want to die!
The spirit screams and screams as something unseen tears into him.
There's a void woken on the bridge ahead. But where's it going?
A frantic dwarf knocks an arrow to a phantom bow. He lets it fly at some towering, invisible horror, visible only in his mind's eye. He reaches for another arrow.
Keep firing, damn you! He has to have a weak spot. He has to.
The ghostly dwarf ignores you, but the word Mordus forms soundlessly upon his lips. He drops his bow and yanks his sword from its sheath.
Come on, you filth! Let's see what your insides look like!
The spirit is blind to you. He grips his sword tightly. Creeping fear slowly fills his dead eyes. Her gaze falls on you, a glimmer of awareness. She raises her hand as a greeting, or as a warning. The spirit takes a deep breath and bellows silently. A distant cry echoes along the cavern.
Run!
Good gods, what happened?
The dwarf rocks on her haunches, gnawing at her own bloody knuckles. Her wet, fearful eyes flick to you. She lowers her fist just enough to hiss a warning.
Away! Away! Too noisy! It'll come back! It'll take me too!
She shrinks into the fetal position.
It'll come back! It'll come back! It'll come back! It'll come back! And we'll all be eaten alive!
Your efforts draw an expression of eerie calm. She stares up at you, wide-eyed.
You'll see for yourself! They take us for food! They take us for food for their spawn! They'll take you too!
Her stillness dissolves. Trembling, she curls herself into a whimpering ball and shuts you out.
Before he knows you're here. You think I stopped to get a name? They locked him up, but he got out, and they went crazy. They all went crazy. Run! If you know what's good for you, run!
Where am I? Well, we won't find them by gabbing here.
The spirit stares at you, through you. When she opens her mouth to speak, her voice seems to drift to you from far away, as if half-dreamed.
We keep the shipments here. That's what's meant for ships. It ends up in our carts, trundling away. Weapons. Weapons great and small. Weapons solid and floating through the breeze. It wafts on the wind. The black ring choked. Arcs will choke. They will all choke. Mordus?
A dreamy smile spreads across her face.
You don't look for Mordus.
She comes back to herself for the first time and looks you in the eye.
Mordus looks for you.
good find.
Like this in last month's avant-garde alchemist.
The dwarven woman hums to herself as she works with total focus and concentration. Her ears twitch as you approach, but she does not turn to you.
Yes.
She turns to peer up at you, surprise and mistrust evident in her intelligent face. Looking closer, you recognize the device she works on. It is identical to the portal you were given to save the elves, right before the death fog annihilated them.
And what business is it of yours, outsider?
Safety?
She laughs, a tinkling sound like glass smashing on a stone floor.
Maybe. If you consider the Hall of Echoes a place of safety, you know this is a very specific kind of delivery device, right? Specifically for delivering death fog? Oh yeah, indeed. You remember when it was last used?
Her eyes gleam with a truly unpleasant zeal. Reflected in them, you see yourself standing there, white-faced, jaw slack with horror.
Wiping out the Black Ring with a side order of elves in the last war. Don't mess with the Divine Order!
Your mind races. Could this be true? Could it be you who brought death and destruction to the elves? All those lives? Who would set you up like that? Not Lucian? No, Lucian couldn't, wouldn't.
We don't live in a civilized world. And we dwarves won't be living at all unless we do something. Queen Justinia understands that. To be honest, I've reached the end of my tether with what I can do here. So if you want to harass somebody, hang on. Hannig, the original creator, should arrive here any day now.
Ready.
You've got to be kidding me. It's mine.
the Reaper for me.
The blindfolded statue is partly embedded in the rock face, reaching forth as if yearning to be free of the granite that surrounds her. Your body is still, but your soul floats upwards. You see yourself when you look down, content, safe.
How many of you creeps do I have to beat? The spirit twists and turns in front of you. It looks lost. It looks scared. It looks desperate. As your hand passes through the ghost, you feel its fear flow into you. You feel its confusion. You feel hands on the hard stone, ripped skin where the monster grabbed you. You're surrounded by darkness. You start to slowly creep forward. Your hand touches the floor. It's slick with something. There's liquid on the ground. It's wet. It's warm. Oh gods, you pray it's not blood. You summon your magic, and a tiny light flickers. You're kneeling in a clear pool of liquid. It isn't blood. You look up into dozens of eyes glittering in the dark. A long drip of saliva falls from the shadows. It isn't blood.
You're flung from the vision, screaming ringing in your ears. Back in your own body, you double over, trying not to retch.
hatchlings. They ate us. Alive. They ate us all. I watched them swallow bodies and then swallow souls. They fed on our flesh and our souls. I did not think they would ever be stopped. I did not think they could ever be stopped. Mordus? I heard that name on the lips of the dwarves. They screamed it as they killed each other.
Made it all the way here, you creeping little maggots? Have you wriggled up to bow to me? As Lohar sent you to beg forgiveness for his sins. My lord had faith. He came to me when Lohar failed the queen. And as a reward for my service, he has granted me his favor. He has granted me Mord Akhaim. You will learn nothing. My lord has granted me power. I will never answer to another. You might not bow to me in this life, but maybe you'll bow to him in the next.
The Master Sorcerer throws up his pocked, cracked arms to defend himself as you step forward. The undead dwarf looks quickly over its shoulder, his gaze darting from shadow to shadow.
Of course! Anything! Just name it! What? Source?
The skeleton slowly lowers his arms, staring at you in disbelief.
Of course! You're God-woken! You seek power! Ultimate power! And I worried we could not find common ground. Yes, God-woken, I can teach you. If you swear you won't banish me to the afterlife. Am I not? How many others have survived the Magister's witch hunt?
The skull before you curls into a maggot-eating grin.
No, you need me. So I teach you and you spare me. Do we have an accord? Praise be. Very well, Godwoken. Listen carefully. Source and void, day and night, love and hate. One is meaningless without the other. To grow your source, To achieve your potential, you must embrace the void.
The grinning skeleton reaches into the folds of his robes and pulls out a small black mass. It's covered in veins and oozing pus.
Here, Godwoken. Take a bite. The finest meal you'll find in this cave. The heart of a Voidwoken.
Your god stirs, pushing you to eat it. Do not fear, a voice whispers. Do what must be done.
Perhaps not the most appetizing thing around, but if you truly want to channel more source...
The skeleton extends his arm, jiggling the heart towards you. A glob of dark yellow pus oozes through the bones of his palm and drips to the ground. The thick pus explodes into your mouth, coating the back of your throat. You can feel it running down your throat like rancid custard. You start to retch, your body struggling to reject this intruder, but your teeth clamp down hard on the fibrous, gritty flesh as you force yourself to chew and swallow. Deep within you, you feel something change. Your soul opens up, and you feel it swell as new channels for source start to flow through you. You swallow all you can, and despite the meat in your stomach, you feel a new space inside you, a potential waiting to be filled.
There, I held up my end of the bargain. I did as you asked, and now I'm getting as far from this cave as my bones will take me.
Mordus looks at you in alarm.
God's graves, please be quick. He wanted the Death Fog destroyed. Once he knew his rats had found it in the Peacemaker's wreck, he wanted it destroyed. The greatest weapon Rivellon has ever seen lands in his lap, and he ordered the barrels thrown into the ocean. We couldn't let it happen. We needed it. So I took control. The power gifted to me, the power of Mordus, the power to bend the feeble-minded to my will, and so much more. It was a gift from... It was a gift. Ah! The Queen! It's the Queen! She saw what Death Fog did to the Black Ring. She saw it destroy the Elven Forest. She said the dwarves needed power like that. And he told me to make sure she got it. He told me to ensure they got to... Oh. Arcs. The barrels were going to Arcs. I can't. He'll hear. He'll know. He'll find me. He'll come. If I tell you, I die. Or worse.
Mordus takes a step back, looking about in half-crazed panic.
I can't. I can't. Not now. It's too late. It's all too late.
You grab the dwarf's old, brittle arm and follow through with your knee. There's a dry snapping sound as the crumbling bone cracks and gives way.
Ah! No! Stop! Stop! I beg you! I'll tell you!
You relent, and the dwarf stumbles back, cradling his fractured arm and whimpering.
It's him! The one the Seven rejected. The god.
The dwarf is interrupted by another crack. You see his femur has developed a break. The fracture spreads, shearing the bone in two. Mordus stumbles to the ground, oddly silent. He looks up, and you see that his jaw is cracked, broken, and falling to pieces. Fissures are starting to run across his skull, and his ribs start to snap and fall one by one. Mordus tries to raise his remaining arm to his head, splaying his fingers wide, but the digits are viciously snapped off by some unseen force. You hear the tiniest whimper from the skeleton before his face caves in, as if smashed with an invisible mace, and the body lies still and silent.
I've never felt such power.
You feel newfound powers of the source course wildly through your body. Deep inside your soul, your god calls for you. It would be wise to meet with your god again by performing the Meistr's ritual, here or in Siva's vault. The thought of Deathfog gives you pause. A weapon like that should give everyone pause.
A weapon of untold destruction? And you use this against your own kind, knowing it ends their existence? How efficient.
Who wakes up in the morning and thinks, today I'll invent something that'll be able to murder people by the hundreds?
Ah, Deathfog. Instant victory. I always applauded Lucian for using it.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to hurt anyone. But he made me. That voice, he made me. I let him out of the vault. I killed anyone that got in the way. And then I sat here as he gibbered about needing to complete his bloody Mordus. Damn divine. Some ancient ritual, he said. It gave him the power to twist our minds, to turn us into his puppets. And when he was strong enough, it turned him into... that. He thought it was a reward. Kept saying how blessed he was. What madness.
The ghost stares down at his broken, twisted body, a look of glum resignation on his face.
It ain't a pretty way to go. Mind you, could be a damn sight better than whatever Lohar would have done if he'd got his hands on us. Mind control or no, he'll be livid when he finds out what we did.
The ghost turns to you, her finger urgently pointing towards something unseen. Silent lips move, issuing an urgent, unheard plea. Your hands merge together, your world twisting. Looking down, you see you're holding a barrel marked with a fatal warning. Deathfog. A cart contains many barrels more, recovered from a wrecked ship. The room is filled with voices, cracking jokes and swearing oaths as you go about unloading the cart. But somewhere, in the hum of voices, one cuts through the rest. Stop, it hisses. Do your duty. You lift up the Deathfog, and, fighting against every step, you walk back to the cart. You pass a dwarf, struggling against the voice and winning, but you crack his skull with a barrel in your hands. One by one, the barrels are loaded again, and the cart departs. As it trundles out of the cave, the voice returns, "Come, come to me." And you feel your feet carrying you into the cavern's darkness.
A letter with a dwarf seal.
Fine paper. It looks important.
The dwarf's royal seal? It couldn't be.
Open it at once. This could be valuable.
Even dead, there are humans causing me trouble. You need something? Take a hike, Longshanks. Me and your belly button ain't got nothing to talk about. What's it look like? Either they were a void-woken attack, or this is the most unfortunate dinner party you ever did see. Now shove off. I've got an afterlife to enjoy, and your jabbering ain't making it easy. Walk on, heartbeat. I got nothing to say to you.
The dwarf pulls a dagger with shocking dexterity and reflexively swings at your gut. Thankfully, the ephemeral blade passes right through you. With a rancid look, the dwarf pockets the knife. As he does so, you see an elaborate seal on the handle. Through gritted teeth, the dwarf growls.
We're done here.
Don't worry about it, says Lohar. Quietest work around, says Lohar. Well, I don't see him here, cold as the stone he's lying on. It will be fine, my arse. And here I was, the fool, believing him.
The ghost swings a foot to kick its old body in frustration, but the boot sails straight through her corpse.
Because it's his fault. If not for him, I'd still be sitting there, wine in hand, happy as Larry. But no, he knew best. He wanted the death fog destroyed. That's why we were to make sure it got into the right hands. Our hands. I even stood guard of Mordus when he were doing nothing but the Queen's bidding. No wonder we came to this. This is what I deserve for following the orders of a leader with the spine of a sponge. Thank Duna Her Majesty has more steel in her belly than that coward. You're a little tool to be asking questions like that. Her Majesty is trying to do what's best for the dwarf people. And there's not a thing more you need to know.
Lohar rubs his forehead beneath his hood and stares at the ground. As you approach, his face hardens and he stands at his full height.
So?
Lohar takes the amulet and turns it over in his hand. He pockets it matter-of-factly.
What did you find in the cave? Dead. More dead. And Mordus with them. I owe you. Whole realm owes you, really. But I'll do my best to settle that debt myself. Take this key. Nicked it from the Whites. It opens a chest in the Magister barracks, 2nd floor. Be careful getting at it. If they spot you, it'll be lights out. Should be some good stuff in there, though. Real good. I guess there's no hiding it now. It's like this. I didn't sign up to move Death Fog. Other weapons, even soul-forged weapons, sure. But Death Fog? Absolutely not. When we found the bomb on a Magister ship, I was told to ship it to Arx along with the rest of the stuff. But I couldn't. I didn't want my people to have it any more than theirs. Nothing good can come of Death Fog. Nothing. Mordus disagreed, obviously. But thanks to you, he's dead. I'll go destroy the Death Fog bomb myself. Make sure no one can get their hands on it. Ever.
In an instant, Lohar goes completely white.
No! What have we done? Look, Mordus had to go one way or another. I thought I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So yell all you want. I was wrong and I know it. But every second you spend here telling me my sins is a second closer to that bomb going off. I'm gonna do what I can to stop the Queen. I suggest you try the same. Get to Arx. End this before Justinia does.